Hi, and welcome to the major in psychology at Lehman College. This overview is just to give you an idea of the basic requirements. I want to encourage you now, and throughout this, I'll be making references that this presentation is only intended to go over the essentials that apply to absolutely everybody. What you take specifically, you'll see some courses, there's no choice, everybody takes them. But for most of our courses, there's either some choice, take this, or it's free choice, take what you want. And putting together your program, the best program, which will get you the best major, is going to require you coming in and meeting with psychology department advisors when we do finally open up the campus again, so that you can discuss your future plans, your goals, your interests, and the advisors can give you feedback about things they see in your program. When you come into an advising session, you will see that the advisor will go over this advising form with you. And you can see as I, click in that this form is in sections. There are several parts to it. So I am going to start by going over each of the blocks in turn. The first block are the courses that are required of all majors. Everybody must complete Psych 166 or General Psychology before you take any other psychology courses. If you were meeting with an advisor, and you had transferred this in from somewhere else, they would record T over here to indicate transferred. If you took it here at Lehman, they would record your A or your B or whatever your particular grade was in the course, right? So if you meet with an advisor or you fill out one of these sheets for yourself, just to keep track of what you're doing, we'll be putting T's over here for courses that transferred in for credit, but the grade doesn't count in the calculation of your GPA. And we're putting in course letters for, what was the actual grade you got in the course when it's going to count towards your GPA. By the way, let me start by noting that the major in psychology is 35 credits. It's a minimum of 35. It's okay if it's more than that. Must have at least 18 credits in residence here at Lehman. So if you transferred in 35 credits from somewhere else in psychology, you still have 18 to go. We can't give you a degree in psychology from Lehman unless you have a majority of your credits from Lehman. You also, in order to graduate, will need a minimum GPA of a 2.0 in the major. You also are going to need a 2.0 overall, and if you have a minor, you'll need a 2.0 over in the minor as well. You can track these different indices by going to DegreeWorks. So if you find out how to use DegreeWorks, once all of your courses are posted there, you can check. It will show you what your overall GPA is and what your GPA is in your major, and then what it is in your minor if you have a minor. All right. The 14 credits that are required of every psych student, as I said, starts with Intro Psych, General Psychology 166, and that has to be done before anything else. Then there are 3 courses that students must complete before they graduate, but you don't have to complete them before you take other courses. In fact, very few students get to take these courses early in their career. One of the required courses of all psychology majors is Psych 226, Statistical Methods in Psychology. Now, Statistical Methods in Psychology has a prerequisite, and that prerequisite is Math 132, which is math statistics. So you have to take a course in statistics from the math department before we're going to let you take one in psychology from us. Math 132 is the common prerequisite. We will also take Math 172, 174, 175. These are calculus, pre-calculus level courses. If you've taken it, then, or you're currently taking it, then great, you're good to go and try and find a spot in psychology. On the other hand, you do not have the prereq. You don't have it yet. Then what you should do is get into math and get the prereq done right away. Get this done as early as you can so you're positioned to try and get into a stat course. As I said, many students can't get into statistics until they're juniors simply because of the high demand. Sometimes you can't do it until your senior year. These courses go very quickly, so make sure that you're checking them continuously and that you're flexible in your schedule to try and take a spot if it opens up. Once you are in psych statistics, the following semester you can register, if there's room, to take experimental psychology. So these two courses, statistics and experimental, represent a 2-semester sequence. You cannot take them at the same time, and they must be taken with statistics first, followed by experimental. I should also add that we do not offer either statistics or experimental during winter term. So these are 2 courses that you're going to have to devote, in effect, 2 full semesters to completing. Everybody also will need to take a history of psychology course. That's this Psych 348. And we suggest that you consider putting that one off until you've taken at least 4 or 5 other psych courses, maybe not until your senior year. Why? It's not a requirement. The only prereq for it is intro. If you have intro, the system will let you take it. We've just discovered that it is a course that the more psychology you know, the more theorists you know about, the easier it will be to follow this course and put everything together. So if you're in a position to make it easy on yourself, get some other psychology under your belt before you try and take history. On the other hand, the earlier you can get into statistics followed by experimental, the better. So always look for spots on that. The next block of courses is a thing that we call distribution block 1. Now, distribution block 1 means that there are some courses that you have to take, but there's also some freedom in what you take. When you look at this distribution 1 block, you should notice that there are 3 lines. There's a line A, there is a line B, and there is a line C. Each of those lines represent a somewhat different orientation in psychology. So in this case with line A, you can see that it's developmental courses, child, adolescence, and adulthood. Line B, we've got abnormal and personality. Line C, we've got industrial, organizational, and social. The requirement is that you have to complete 2 courses out of this block, and the 2 courses have to come from different lines. So this means that you could do a course from line A, and you could get a course from line B, and you'd be good to go. Or you could get the course from line A, and you could get another course from line C, and you'd be good to go. Or you could, I think you all know where I'm going here, you could get a course from line B, and you could get a course from line C, and you'd be good to go. What you couldn't do to satisfy the distribution is take, for example, a course in child and adolescence and adulthood and come to us and say, well, I got 3 courses out of distribution block 1, so I'm good to go. We would say, no, you've gotten 3 courses out of line A. And the rule is you need to hit at least 2 of these lines. So having gotten 3 courses out of line A, you're still 1 short from line B or line C. Now, don't worry if you do want to take, for example, both abnormal and personality. That's fine. You're not limited to only 2 courses from the block. It's just that if you take both abnormal and personality, because they're both from line B, you still need something from either line A or line C. So 2 courses from 2 different lines. If you take more than that, if you take 3 courses or 4 courses or 5 courses out of this block, those courses still count towards the major. They still get calculated in your GPA. They're just considered extra electives. We have a second distribution block as well. And this second distribution block is going to follow the exact same rules. So again, we have a line A, we have a line B, and we have a line C. And as before, you have to get 2 courses out of this distribution block that are drawn from different distribution lines. So you have to pick something from line A and something from line B, or something from line A and something from line C, or something from line B and something from line C. So you've got to just make sure that you're hitting at least 2 different lines. And again, as before, we have no problem with you taking extra courses from the distribution block. You could take both physiological and clinical neuro. That would be absolutely fine. The first one you take would satisfy the distribution block, and the second one you take from that line simply becomes a free elective. So everything counts towards the major, everything counts towards the calculation of your GPA. It's just that to satisfy the distribution, you've got to get some breadth, you've got to get exposed to different perspectives in psychology. The third section on the major constitutes these free credits. There are 9 credits, a minimum of 9 credits that you must complete, which can be anything you choose. Now, you could choose to use some of those other courses. For example, you had decided to take both adolescent and adulthood, and so one of them satisfied block 1 and one of them comes down as an elective. You decided to take a course, one course from line A, one from line B, one from line C. 2 of them satisfy the distribution, and the third course becomes an elective. So all of that's fine, but I do want to point out that we have a number of other courses that are not on the front of this sheet. When you look at our list of courses, you can see that there are a number of things like critical thinking in psychology, which might appeal to you, or child psychopathology, which is not listed on the front, or environmental psychology. Let's see some other courses that are not listed on the front. Motivation and emotion, psychology of memory. Hold on, I'm looking for ones that we commonly offer. Psychology and law, health psychology, psych of ethnicity, community psychology, evolutionary psychology, the psychology of literacy development. These are all courses which get offered on a pretty commonly rotating basis. We don't offer all of the courses all of the time, but we offer many of these courses most of the time, and you don't want to see somebody in the graduation of your senior year and tell them that you're interested in being a forensic psych and have them say, "Oh, did you like the course in psych and law?" and have you say, "I didn't know we had it," right? So you want to go to the psychology department's website. You can find descriptions of each of these courses. If there's something here that you don't know what community psych or evolutionary psych would cover and you're curious, go check it out. The other thing that I should point out is that there is an option in the major to get honors. To get honors in psychology, you have to have a very high GPA in both the major and overall, but you also have to have completed an independent study and complete an honors project in psychology. So you can't get honors without a minimum of 38 credits instead of the 35, and all of these things. And what happens is in the independent study, you plan an independent research project with a faculty member. With the 495, you write it up, and at the end of the semester, you present it in person in a colloquia to the whole department, and you write up an APA style 25, 30-page paper in which you'll get experience in how to write a full academic research paper. So for those of you who are aspiring to graduate school and want that option, pay attention to this note about what's required for doing independent study and honors. Good luck in the major. We hope to see you in person, and contact us if you have questions.